Well, this could well be an extension of Business Morning on Sunrise Daily, because indeed we're still talking business, only this time how it affects us as Nigerians. Well, you may, of course, be aware of that back and forth between the NNPCL and Dangote Refinery concerning the price at which it was sold. Well, the NNPC did put out that statement, saying that, look, this is how much we how much we procured this product from the Dangote refineries. You may be seeing that on your screen any moment now, as to at what time, exactly what it was that the NNPCL got from Dangote refineries. The statements talking about the estimated pump prices of PMS from Dangote refinery based on September 2024 pricing. It is also being made clear by the NNPCL that this price will undulate from time to time based on markets dynamics, and that is part of the conversation. This statement that you are seeing right now on your screen is part of the information that has been put out by the NNPCL about this particular issue that we are talking about now. And right now, of course, as you can see right there on the front page, right there on your screen, the NMDPRA's levy, the Midstream and Gas Infrastructure Fund, and a number of other things that are there, which brings the pump price in Lagos to 950 naira 22 kobo. Is that the amount that everyone is going to be buying it? I guess we'll wait to see. If that is your experience, please let Nigerians know. And of course, we also know that the Dangote refinery has put out their own statement as well, saying that the price, there's a technical committee set up by the president to determine the price. NNPCL is saying, how can that be in a deregulated environment? Let's have conversations around this morning with Mr. Marcel Okeke, who is a former chief economist with Zenith Bank. He joins us virtually this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Okeke. Well, first of all, let's speak to that back and forth that you are not unaware of. What do you make of all of that back and forth between the NNPCL and Dangote Refinery? It's the first in 28 years, some say, and here we are now, some good songs to sing, yet this back and forth. What do you make of it all?
If I heard you well, thank you very much for the question. Yes. The thing is that the controversy that has been going on around Dangote's rollout of PMS is, to say the least, worrisome. Okay? Nigerians are really fed up, with those controversies and all that, because there's been a lot of expectation, that the Dangote refinery will be a game changer in terms of alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians, because of the consistent or successive hike in the price of PMS. But all of a sudden, the government, through its agencies, stepped in and appears to have been holding the company by the jugular, so to speak, and that all the freedom that the company is supposed to enjoy in terms of a private business and all that, the government stepped in, to cause confusion, if you like. And so people have been watching in utter surprise and shock as to why the government, and these agencies have taken this kind of position. And what's been unfolding is that the government has more hidden agenda or interest, in the Dangote business than, we knew it. And so what is coming out now is that government appears to want to keep the price, at a level that rather than things improving in the economy, things will keep getting worse. Because everybody knows that the price of PMS, especially, and other refined products, have a way of influencing or impacting every aspect of life, especially driving the level of inflation, and having deterioration in people's quality of life and the value of money, and so on and so forth. So as we speak, the ding-dong, if you like, is still going on, and we are not sure that Dangote PMS is already in the market. It's all talking about price. Some say, about 1,000 naira, per liter, some say 900 and something per liter. The truth is that any of these prices will cause more problem in the economy. And I want to stop there for now. We'll elaborate as we go on. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Keke, perhaps to further elucidate on that. I mean, you may want to help us with that, because information available to us from the slide that we showed earlier, which we'll still bring back on the screen right now, the back and forth, there are those who would say it's purely business. NNPC actually says, look, from available information, this is a purely business conversation. Now, all of these rates will come back to which one of them you think might need to be shelved in the interest of Nigerians. But it's a purely business discussion, a purely business negotiation between one organization and the other, the NNPCL as off-taker, buying from a private organization, which is the Dangote refinery. And as at now, NNPCL is saying, look, we are paying in dollars, but subsequently it will be in naira. And they actually, according to the NNPCL, had to negotiate with Dangote refinery before they could arrive at 898 naira to the liter. Now, do you think that is a fair adjustment, because a fair position? Because there are those who were saying that hitherto someone was covering the difference between the real price of fuel and what we have on our hands now. Do you think this is really representative? Do you think this is the ceiling of the cost, given that it is Dangote making this fuel on Nigerian soil, technically, importing it into Nigeria from the free trade zone? Do you think this is uhuru now, that we don't have to be afraid that the fuel price is going to get any higher? Or what do you make of it? How hopeful are you?
Well, thank you. Again, given the intrigues that have been going on, the controversy has been going on with the rollout of the Dangote refineries PMS, we are no longer sure as to what is going to happen. Because before now, we just saw Dangote try to come into the market as a purely private concern. And people were saying that it's come to kind of play as a monopoly, because of the advertised capacity of Dangote refinery that's likely to take over the market, given the fact that I don't have other serious or big refineries within Nigeria already. The economy will be depending almost 100% on importation of PMS. And so that when Dangote takes off, it is assumed capacity are going to play as a monopoly. Now, all of a sudden, NNPC stepped in, okay, to now move from the private monopoly to state monopoly, okay, because it's the off-taker. Why must NNPC be the only off-taker? Why will there not be an agreement so that if the distributors will directly go to Dangote and take these things and move to various parts of the country? You understand? So it means that the government has vested interest, because I must tell you, for instance, all these people who have been around over the years as licensed importers of refined products, especially PMS, they have vested interest. And it's like they are afraid of what the Dangote refinery will be to them, okay? Or they believe that once that refinery flourishes, that their business is gone, that kind of, and that is why they directly or indirectly, they are moving the NNPC to come in between, okay? So to be the off-taker, and now they be the one that will be interfacing with them. So you see that this goes beyond ordinary business. You see that there is politics and some other vested interest in it. That's the way it is. And so, going forward, nobody knows clearly, the intention of government by unleashing NNPC into the whole scenario. Because under the Petroleum Industry Act, you understand, the NNPC is supposed to, operate in a liberalized market where market forces, play the key roles. But now it has come in as a participant, as an operator and a regulator at the same time. So,
but you do know, Mr. Okeke, my apologies, you do know, Mr. Okeke, that the NNPCL has repeatedly says that it is not a regulator, it is the NMDPRA and other institutions of government like that that are regulators. In fact, if you see in the pricing template that they have released, there is an NMDPRA levy that NNPCL is paying to NMDPRA. So they have said repeatedly that they are not regulators, but that they are mandated by the same law that you quoted, the PIA, to be the energy supplier of last resort, just to ensure that there is energy security in the country. Doesn't that count for something?
From my perspective, I think Nigeria and Nigerians would have benefited, maximally, if you like, from the Dangote refinery if the refinery was left, to operate as a private business, rather than being twisted or compelled, to be subsumed under the authority of the NNPCL and these other agencies you have mentioned.
You think the fuel would have been cheaper if the NNPCL didn't step in?
I think it would have been better, because in that case, the supply and demand situation we always talk about will play out, okay? But in this case, the NNPC coming to stand in between appears to be representing some kind of interest. And when you look at these things and the prices that people are mentioning
sorry, I just want to be clear, Mr. Okeke, just 1 second, my sincere apologies. Are you saying that if the NNPCL did not intervene in the negotiations on behalf of Nigerians, that the fuel that Dangote refinery will be selling to the private importers, the other independent marketers, are you saying that it will be cheaper from Dangote refineries to them and to Nigerians?
I think it will be cheaper, because to begin with, all of us have an idea of Dangote refinery was going through before. The federal government now announced that they will be supplied crude oil here and they will pay in Naira. So if Dangote refinery is getting crude oil here in Naira, okay, give and take, it is likely to have lower operational costs, okay, and that will translate into cheaper PMS, to be sold to Nigeria directly, all things being equal. So let me also take the perception out there is that the intervention of the NNPCL or interruption or whatever it's called is not in the interest of the people, but they'll be giving the impression that they want to save Nigerians from hardship. But all we are getting is that all of a sudden, rather than the price of PMS coming down, it's going up. Why should it be so? The Dangote that we know over the years, operating in various sectors and subsectors, manufacturing and pushing to the market goods, all kinds of goods and all that. They are not the agents, of price hikes and all that. Okay? And talking about monopoly and all that, which would have enabled them to put the price, sky high. Why would the federal government not be serious with repairing its own refineries to compete against Dangote, and we see the free market operating?
Well, for now, I'm very sure that that's one of the conversations that several people are raising. But I mean, still on that same subject matter, before Kayla, my colleague in Abuja, will come in, you do know that one of the considerations, perhaps, that the NNPCL has, one of the considerations in the dialogue between NNPCL and Dangote Refinery would be that it is the NNPCL that is supplying the crude to Dangote refineries. And Dangote Refinery, the NNPCL also has shares in Dangote refineries. Those things, I believe, should count for something in the negotiation between NNPCL and Dangote Refinery. So do you think other independent marketers would have that kind of leverage with Dangote Refinery and be able to offtake 25 million liters of fuel daily to be able to get the kind of negotiation they got from Dangote Refinery?
You see, Dangote Group, we know, is not a small business empire. They are quite experienced and they have the clout, to do the kind of business they've gone into. And so it will be patronizing to believe, that they will not be able to, relate with distributors, to supply product to them, and unless NNPC intervenes. I mean, I don't know the right word to use in describing that. The NNPCL mustn't intervene. if Dangote is allowed, to play as a private business. And I am saying, open the market, reactivate the other refinery the government has left moribund over the years. Allow other model refineries to come on stream and leave the market open. So this role of NNPC coming to be off-taker and all that will be removed. And so the market forces will come into play. And Nigerians will be the better for it. Because Dangote will not operate as a monopoly. Neither will the government operate as any. And then you have many people producing PMS and all that. But that's not being allowed. Let me also tell you, the perception out there is that Dangote refinery is being punished. You understand? And is being subjected to this kind of trouble of getting into the market. Who else will have the guts? Who else will have the clout? Who else will have the knowledge? Who else will have the capacity to even venture into doing what Dangote is doing and going through what he's going through? Okay? All of us know that.
Mr. Okeke. Yes, just so we can, wrap up and touch on everything. One of the major issues with this situation has to do with the pricing, really. No matter what is going on around the country, no matter what, everything comes down to what it is that the Nigerian is going to have to pay. And for many people, we're asking, so what was the point in the first place if it's still going to be costing this much? We saw from the coalition of united political parties as well complaining about this. In fact, their complaint has to do with the fact that, look, why does it cost this much when they're not having to pay for tariffs, they're not paying for landing costs or port charges? And just so we can look at our screens right there, what the estimated amount is going to be around the country. We're looking at in Lagos, for instance, 950 naira 22 kobo per litre. Here in Abuja, 992 naira 22 kobo, and as far as Borno, 1,019 naira 22 kobo. Just so you can help us to understand why this is going on right now. And these complaints saying, look, the price is not justified. We thought it was going to be cheaper. What do you make of that, and what should a Nigerian be thinking about at this point in time?
Well, as far as I am concerned, as an economist, all these things are imposition. The government agency, whether it's NNPCL or whatever agency, are imposing this on a Dangote refinery. Okay? Given the Dangote business that all of us are familiar with over the years, Dangote is not coming into the market to punish Nigerians. Okay? So because the prices you are mentioning now are punitive. They will worsen the state of being, well-being or whatever of Nigerians. You understand? Already inflation is sky high, and all of a sudden you are bringing in this pricing template that's going to worsen the situation. When is it going to get better? Okay? So the expectation of Nigerians concerning Dangote refinery is not unfounded. But what we are seeing now is the other side of it. Okay? I am telling you that ordinarily we should not be talking about this kind of pricing and price, because Dangote refinery, yes, it is located in export free zone, but it is still here in Lagos. Okay, and if they are getting their major input raw material, which is crude oil, and paid in naira, so the issue of landing costs, paying insurance, paying this, paying that will not arise. And certainly that will draw down their cost of operation. And certainly that will be transferred to Nigeria in terms of lower cost. I don't think a Dangote business, we see that the price of fuel PMS we're talking about is now around 600 and 700. I'll enter into a negotiation and agree with government. Let us now move it to 1,000 and something. I mean, why will he be part of that kind of punishment for Nigerians as a business? Okay? People are already being choked. People are being pushed to the wall in terms of impoverishment, in terms of level of poverty, in terms of high level of inflation, in terms of worthlessness of their income. Okay? So I mean, it's a shock to Nigerians, what is going on. And Nigerians are still watching.
It's a shock to all of us. Absolutely. You are correct in that sense. What do we do going forward? What can be done? Can anything be done? There's a despondency in my spirit. And I think a lot of people feel that way right now. What are you going to do? What can be done? Is it possible is there some kind of transparency that we need from NNPC that can make things better? What can be done?
What we think can be done is if we have a responsive government to respond immediately to the feelings of Nigerians, to respond immediately and in their own best interest, so that this economy will start being turned around. They have to bring down the prices. They have to ensure that the pump price of PMS, doesn't go higher, but either remains at something below 700 and remains there. Government should do everything to make sure that other refineries start working. That's the expectation of Nigerians, and not this issue of tying everything around Dangote refinery. You see, rather than encouraging the business, everything is being done, to squeeze it and to get it asphyxiated, to get the Dangote and Co. punished, to get them stopped from operating and all that. Then that will go to underline and underpin the suspicion that some people have blending plants somewhere and are supplying, and they want that line of business to continue, so that Nigeria will continue to depend on imported PMS. If that is not the truth, let the government do everything to encourage the Dangote refinery to flourish and blossom and encourage others to come in, so that we have that kind of free market, free market forces, demand and supply will play, and businesses will go into building refineries. That's what we expect. And not all this brouhaha around the Dangote refinery. We are fed up.
We have a particular, someone actually sent us a question to ask you. And he was saying that you're actually looking at the issues as an activist and not necessarily as an economist. That NNPCL is an investor in Dangote and also the supply of crude in Nigeria. So that gives it its edge to negotiate the price. What do you make of that?
No. If you look at, in the first place, how did the government or the NNPC come to invest in Dangote refineries? Okay? You want to tell me that it's Dangote that asked for it? We are there not in any way compelled and twisted, to allow a government to come in so that they start to do this kind of thing they're doing now. Who in Nigeria loves doing any business with government directly? Now look at what it's resulting into. If NNPC, let me take what you said, did not invest in Dangote refinery, will it be taking this kind of position it's taking now? So-called investor. Yes, if they are good investors, what is happening to their own government fully owned refineries? Okay? So you can see that it's a bad investor. If that level of investment will entitle it to what he's doing now. And at the end of the day, the interest of government, the overall interest of government should be the welfare and well-being of Nigerians, should be the economic development of this country. The level of price and pricing we are talking about will not conduce to the well-being of Nigerians, and will not help the development of this economy in any way, because inflation will go sky high, while the quality and standard of living of Nigerians, everybody within Nigeria, will go down. We go down consistently. You understand?
I mean, I'm looking at that press statement from Dangote's office because we haven't gotten an update from that. At least we've gotten an update from the NNPCL where they're urging us to disregard the statement. But, he says a formal announcement on the pricing by the Technical Subcommittee on Naira-based crude sales to local refineries appointed by His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, which will commence on October the 1st, bearing in mind that our current stock of crude was procured in dollars. Should we wait till the 1st of October?
You see, that's the problem now. That's the problem. Waiting till 1st October. As we speak, we still have about 2 weeks to get to 1st October. And so, why will a government, be keeping people in suspense like this? And the more suspense, that exists, the more the sufferings. People, human beings, do better, with certainties and not uncertainty. Businesses do better on certainties and not on uncertainties. You understand? Businesses do their plan and execute their plan based on certain variables and factors. But this one, that government creates room for uncertainty, it distorts business and distorts people's way of life, and ends up causing more hardship for the people because they're not sure of anything. That's why we have this challenge of policy somersaults in the system. So many things are said, but at the end of the day, government moves into another thing and says sorry, and goes into another thing. And life doesn't go on well with that kind of policy.
All right, so we do have to wrap it there, Mr. Marcel Okweke. I want to thank you very much for being with us on Sunrise Daily this morning, and good luck with all the work you have ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
Marcel Okweke, the former chief economist of Zenith Bank, join us via Zoom from Lagos. We have quite a number of messages here. I want to start off with Adekoyejo Fetuga, if we can have that up there. Adekoyejo, he says, it's a shame that NNPCL, after decades of existence and operations without meaningful value, is excited to act as middleman in the sale of PMS to the public. Even more disheartening is the false information about how much Dangote sold PMS to NNPCL. NNPCL must come out clean on the price. Transparency must be a priority. Ayo, which one are you looking at?
Well, let me just take that one that follows it. Impunity, that's from Fale Nangwang, says, the impunity at all levels of governance in Nigeria is alarming. The cabals operating the Nigerian nation as a business want to cripple the governed. They want Nigerians to beg on the streets. Citizens no longer have any purchasing power to foot their bills.
It is a precarious situation. Pastor Law Alpha C, he says, all the political stakeholders, he's going back to the Edo story, all the political stakeholders in Edo should exhibit a high level of responsibility and decency before, during, and after this Guber election in the state. For the 18th time, it has been a campaign of bitterness and name-calling. Hear, hear.
Well, most certainly.
All right, well, those are the messages we can take at this time. I want to thank everybody who sent us messages. All of you on YouTube, we see your messages as well. Thank you for speaking with us, and have a wonderful week ahead. I'm Kayla Megwa. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Kayla, you asked one very important question. Should we now wait for October 1? I guess we only have today. Well, in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your beautiful day. It's a public holiday, so take all the rest you need, and Barka de Salah to our Muslim faithful. I'm Aya Makinde. Have a wonderful day.